things don't seem nearly as horrific if John Cena is the one explaining things to you. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. The 6th episode of Pluribus is here. It is called HDP. Yes, I am a little bit behind. I had some amazing life things happening to me, and I was not able to get to these in time just for being busy. But I did watch it this morning, and it's fun. I will say this about Pluribus, because I hear some of the rumblings of people who are not familiar with Vince Gilligan's work. They say that it's a bit slow moving. I don't have that problem because I like character building. I like character world and taking your time to do things, especially if it's well written. There's sometimes when you're like, you're just stretching this to kind of make a season out of. I can feel that happening sometimes. I don't get that at all from Pluribus, so I'm enjoying everything that I have here. This episode picks up right at the end of the last episode where Carol is inside the warehouse and she has stumbled upon something that is horrific to her. And so we pick up here where she's coming out of that warehouse and she's damn near vomiting. She's like gagging because of stuff she has just seen. And so she wants to get this documented so she can tell the others. So she takes a camcorder into the warehouse and starts recording everything that she sees. It's a 100-foot, maybe more long warehouse. Has a lot of vegetables, has a lot of stuff that they need for sustenance, as well as human body parts cut up, dismembered from each other, vacuum sealed tightly to keep their freshness, if you will. And they have a ton of this, tons and tons and tons of it. And this is just in Albuquerque, which can let you know how much they have in other cities. It is mind-blowing to Carol. She also knows that behind there's sort of those almost car wash-like tiles that you sort of go through and they separate. There's a meat grinder back there that is there to make all of this to that powdery substance that she has subsequently seen and brought back to her home. She records it, she takes the memory card out and is about to mail it, and then she thinks better of it. She's like, well, hold on. How do I know that they're anybody? She has nothing to know that these emails or these messages she's sending is actually making it to the people. So she's kind of like, well, hold on. This is the one that I don't want to get out and that doesn't get back to the people. So maybe I should go hand deliver this. So she decides to change course of action. Instead of mailing this out, she packages up, gets her stuff together, gets together a little to-go bag, and she's about to head out the house. Not before returning back in there and vacuuming out the human remains that sort of exist in her house. Because she's like, well, hold on, I'm not just leaving that around. That's gross. What if somebody comes? I'm just gonna have humans on the ground. So then we catch up with the Abate, who is in Vegas. He's our harem guy that they met earlier in the season, and he is living his best life in the penthouse of the Westgate in Vegas. He is essentially living out a Bond simulation. I don't know if it's day to day. It seemed like this might be day to day because he has everybody sort of playing their roles, and he seems to be okay living in this simulation. Like, hey, these guys are willing to put on this big performance for me to make me feel happy. This guy's playing sort of a Bond villain. I'm sort of Bond. I can get all the girls that I want. It's making him happy, and so because that is making him happy, all the joined are willing to do this sort of mystery theater, if you will, for him. Everything's going swimmingly for him. He's living his best life until the word gets out that Carol is coming into Vegas, which means we out. And so he's in a tub with a bunch of they're completely naked women. Somebody else is about to join him, and then they get the word that Carol is coming, and they all just disperse. His good time is all coming to an end because Carol is absconding upon Vegas. That is crazy how much one person makes them so uneasy that they're like, nah, we're gone. So Carol meets up with Diamante and is about to inform her of the news that she's got. It's like, yo, you might want to sit down for this. I got something that's going to blow your socks off. And he's like, oh, you mean about the fact that they eat dead people? Yeah, no, we know. I know. She's like, well, wait, what? You know? When did you know? And he's like, I found out about a week ago. I was hanging out with John Cena, joined John Cena, and he made this tape for me. And he shows her a tape of John Cena giving a basically a PSA of what their eating habits are and why they are in the situation that they are in. And what they're saying is that their food supply, for as many join that there are, their food supply is eventually going to run out. And so what they've had to do is sort of stretch out a little bit and eat some human remains, um, to sort of maintain an equal footing for a longer period of time. Because of their lifestyle and the way that they choose to do things, while they are vegetarians, they can't kill, which also means that they can't go cut grass or they can't take an apple off of a tree. Now, if the apple falls off of the tree, if it's a windfall from what happens, all bets are off and they can eat that apple, but they can't actually take that off. So because they can't pluck fruit or harvest grains or anything like that, their next best case scenario is like, well, just like when apples fall off a tree, if a human dies, we can then take that human because they no longer are functioning as a living, breathing thing. Or you could just pluck a damn apple. But they take the human remains, they cut them up, and then they make them into powder, and then they turn that powder into milk cartons, and they sort of have a rationing system so that they can put this into each of these cartons, and depending on the size of whatever joint they have, they drink a certain amount of cartons per day to sort of maintain and live. It is grotesque to Carol. It probably at one point was grotesque to Diamante, but he's kind of now sort of like, this is what it is. I've accepted. I'm okay with it because it allows him to continue the simulation that he gets to live. They call the substance that they put into the cartons HDP, which is human derived protein, and they inform Carol like, "Hey, we eat this. You don't have to worry about this going to you. We save all the processed food and proteins that are here or that have fallen for you. We're never going to give this to you unless you happen to want to try some of it, but we're not going to just give it to you unless you ask for it." They then follow up like, "Hey, this is a lot to sort of process. So if you have any other questions about this eating situation, what it is that we do, feel free to reach out. We're not going to give you a direct line because we still ain't effing with you like that. So not you, but we need some space. We still need that time." To that point that like Carol's like, "Well, how do you all know this? Like, does everybody else know?" And Diamante's like, "Yeah, no, we all meet regularly, just without you. We talk to each other all the time, except for one. The gentleman in Paraguay does not respond to us, but we all have Zoom calls every Tuesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday, 2 days a week. They meet a lot." And Carol was like, "Well, has anybody ever thought about like adding me to these calls?" And Diamante's like, "Yeah, we have. Majority has ruled that you would not be the best for these groups. So we decided to sort of keep you out. But we are trying to come up with an idea because the way that they're doing things and the way that they're eating, they're going to run out of protein in about 10 years. And so we're trying to find a way to come up with robots or something to sort of help sustain their living situation so that they can maintain life and still be here." And Carol's like, "You guys are doing things the wrong way. Why are we trying to save them? We need to go ahead and try to reverse them back to what they were." And Diamante's like, we're not on the same page as far as seeing that. So once again, Carol's alone. She's by herself, even though the others know this isn't the smoking gun that she thought this was going to be. And now she's still alone and kind of isolated and by herself, trying to figure out how it is that she cannot be converted like her mom used to want to convert her. And she seems to be the only one fighting this good fight. She gets some sleep and then is woken up by Diamante making her breakfast. And then they eat breakfast for a little bit. It's an interesting character note that happens here in that Diamante is eating breakfast normals like eggs, toast, bacon, avocado. He's eating them separately. But when Carol gets there, she stacks them all together to sort of make like an avocado toast with bacon and eggs on top of it. And she just knows what she's doing. She's eating it, and you can see that Diamante is sort of clocking it and watching it, and then he eats it. And he's like, "That's good." It's a small thing, but it's a character thing to sort of show that before all of this, it's clear that he didn't live a life where he got to do things in excess or out of the norm or anything that was not like a routine. Like he kind of was on the by and by, and now that the world has sort of fallen apart, he can now take pleasure in the pleasures of learning. Oh, I can do this, I can learn this. And so it's a small thing to sort of say he was pretty sheltered. And then to see this and kind of like, oh, that's cool. you can see now why he's living the life that he is and why it is he is less concerned with going back to the way that things were, because now this is significantly better than the life that he lived prior to that. But Diamante asks him, like, all right, what's your next plan? What are you planning to do next? What's up? And Carol jokes with him. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna wash up and get a room here in the tower, and then you and I are gonna chat it up and talk about what to do next. You can see the pain that just enters his face. Like, wait, I'm not gonna go back to my simulated harem again. Like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm just joking with you. I can't stay in this lit up ashtray. Like, I'm going to go back home. I'm out. I'm done. As they're exiting, she just keeps saying, like, I don't understand why they don't just pick an apple. Like, they would rather starve than to just grab an apple. Like, go to a tree and pick up an apple. Their life would be a lot easier if they just did that. Their hang up about not killing, I get it towards humans, but to get it in the vegetable life, it doesn't make sense. It's farming. Just do it. Diamante's like, that's not in their makeup. They're not going to do that. To that point, the Carol asked Diamante, do you think that you are better off with living in this life with all the joined? And for him, he doesn't quite answer say yes, but you can see that based on everything that's happening in his life, that feels like he is in the better. It's not just the peace stuff. Like, he is doing things that he never got to do when he was unjoined or when they were unjoined. Carol then poses the question, well, what happens when they turn us? Like, we are eventually going to die off because there's not going to be enough food. We're not going to have enough food. And Diamante's like, well, something to learn yesterday. They can't turn us without our permission. And Carol's like, wait, what? Diamante lets her know that they realize that for them to be able to turn the remaining 13 actually, they need to be able to access our stem cells and make a virus that's specifically detailed to each of these people. But based on the way that they can't take our stem cells without our permission. And so unless we give our undivided permission to do so, this is never going to happen. Diamante said they're not too pleased with it. They've asked me, I denied, and so here we are. And that's when Carol was like, oh, well, then if you deny it, I'm immediately about to deny. So she calls them. We get to hear the voice message. She's like, hey, you just told me some stuff. Is it true? Can you guys not do that? And they respond back, yes and yes. She calls back again, like, cool, I am not giving you my permission. You can't touch me at all. You're not taking my stem cells. I want you to stay like me. And they're like, got it, Carol. We won't touch you. Understood. You're good. And then she takes off and heads back home. We then get a clock message that says that was 12 days. We then reverse back to about 9 days, and we see Manusos in Paraguay in the storage facility, and still doing his thing, still tracking and checking to see if he hears anything on the CB radio that gives up any wavelengths or anything like that. Still not eating their food, but he gets one of Carol's tapes, the very first tape. He watches it, and at that point in time, he realizes that he's not alone, which allows me to believe that when he got the message from Carol on the phone, because he didn't visually see her or see that she was unjoined, he just assumed that she was a joined person calling, and he's like, go F yourself. This call showed him, oh, wait, there's somebody like me, and that there are others like us. Like, he thinks he's alone on an island by himself, and that there's no one like him. And now this gave him a bit of a hope that, oh crap, there's somebody else out there. And it happens to be, there are other people out there. Now, he's going to be disappointed when he realizes outside of Carol, nobody wants to change. But that gives him the impetus to leave the storage facility for his safety, his one sort of blanket that he has, the control that he has. He's willing to give that up because he gets the address of Carol off of the envelope from the video. And he gets in his car after stopping by his house to kind of pick up some things to make this trip work. And then he makes that trip over to go see Carol. And that's how the episode ends. And so for the first time, he won't be alone, and Carol also won't be alone, because there will be two like-minded folks who are like, hey, what's happening here is nuts, and I'm not okay with it. That will be fascinating to see when they finally come together, because I think he's just looking for hope. She's so beat up and realized that nobody else is in her corner on this. And so I'm curious to see how they interact. And because they don't speak the same language, when he gets there, she's going to have to make a call to one of the joined to be like, hey, I need you to come translate because I can't hear him or I can't understand him, which means that they're going to have an ear on whatever it is that they're talking about, which is going to be a fascinating thing to sort of deal with and a hang up that they're going to have to talk around the fact that they have basically a translator in place. What do you guys think about the 6th episode of HDP? It's funny because as horrific as the last episode ended and how horrific what it is that they are doing is, they managed to make it so palatable and tangible and like, hey, we didn't kill these folks. We're not harming folks, but the windfall of it just happens to be there, so we're gonna use it for our benefit. It seems it's right in line with all the other passiveness that they do, but you kind of just like, oh, you're still doing something that under normal circumstances sounds purely insane. But here, you've dressed it up enough and put it in the bow of John Cena that I'm like, well, all right, yeah, no, I get how we got here. Sure, yeah, that's fine. Which is a problem in itself. What did you guys think about the 6th episode of Pluribus called HDP? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up with email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.